Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, I am exposing designer advice that doesn't make sense, maybe it's just wrong, or maybe you just don't know the exceptions to the rules. I hope you find this video helpful because I want you to have great design in your home, and I'm sick of these people giving you bad advice. Sometimes we can't give you great advice in these short videos because we just don't have the time. We want to cover as much ground as possible, and people don't want to watch long videos. Now, if you do like watching long videos, comment down below and let me know. You know I love a long video, you know I can talk, you know I'm long-winded, and I love it. But we're gonna be covering the top 3 mistakes, or it's things that people say are mistakes, but then they're also giving you bad advice. So it's a whole mistake in itself. We're gonna expose it, and the first one is area rugs. And no, I don't mean area rugs over wall-to-wall carpet. And you know that area rugs over wall-to-wall carpet are, for me, what wire hangers are for Joan Crawford. I cannot handle them. So the advice I hear a lot of YouTube designers giving you is that you need to have all of your furniture sitting on an area rug. And while that is ideal, and it is for the most part true, there are exceptions to that. And so the kind of exception I hear a lot of people saying is that you can have wall-to-wall carpet cut into an area rug. I don't personally like that advice because I think you have to go for very high-end wall-to-wall carpet to make that work, and it doesn't typically tend to be a more affordable option. It's not something I ever do. It's not something that is ever in my wheel book. I don't really like that idea. You can have a custom rug made, of course, but that's very expensive. Not everybody has the budget for that. I have an odd-shaped room. I'm not gonna buy a custom-made rug because not only is it just not in my budget, but once I move from this house, which I will be doing at some point in the future, I'm not taking that rug with me because it's not gonna fit in the next house. Let's talk about the exceptions to this rule of area rugs or your entire furniture set having to fit on top of an area rug. So sometimes it's just not possible, sometimes it's not the case, and sometimes it doesn't look good. If you have one large open space and you have a multitude of different things happening in that space, maybe you have a great room that has your living room, your dining room, and your kitchen in it, that can work really well because it helps to very significantly define a space. But sometimes you can't get rugs that are big enough. Sometimes you don't have the budget for those rugs that are big enough. So what are the exceptions? I always like to have a sofa sitting on a rug. If I can have the whole sofa sitting on a rug, that's great, especially if you can see the back of that sofa. If it's pressed against a wall, you kind of have a little bit of wiggle room there where what difference does it make if the rug goes all the way to the wall or not? Because you can't see it anyway. So I like for a floating living room setup like I have in my home, I like for a sofa to sit all the way on the rug. If you can. If you can't do that, you need to have at least 75% of the visual or physical weight of that sofa on the rug. What do I mean by that? Not all sofas are made the same. Some sofas have slender legs and are slightly higher off the ground. Some sofas, the weight of them is on the ground. And so we want to see if that weight is more to the front or to the back, and then we want 75% of that visual weight to sit on the rug. Same thing goes for chairs. For example, this chair here is an open style chair. The physical weight of it is mostly in the seat. This is gonna need to be 75% of the way on the rug to the front. Maybe you could even get away with 50% on a chair like this because it is very open, it is very light feeling. It's not gonna feel like your space is torn apart if that's not completely on the rug, but the front legs and at least half of the weight of the chair need to be on the rug. But a chair more like this, which is a wingback style chair, the weight of this is gonna be more towards the back. So we're not gonna be able to do 75% of that. We want everything but the back legs to be on that rug. If we can have the whole chair on the rug, great. If not, 75%. So keep that in mind when you are looking at area rugs, because so often I will give a piece of advice and I expect you to kind of just, keep it in mind and use it as a guiding principle, but you don't necessarily have to follow it. These rules are not cut and dry. They're not black and white. You don't have to follow them completely. You can do what feels right in your home, but keep in mind the rules or these ideas we're giving you so that you can have a successfully designed space without it being cookie cutter, without it making no sense. Like, you want your area rug to go underneath your furniture. You want it to go underneath all your furniture. That way you get a space that feels very connected. And when you have like a teeny tiny little area rug, no, that's not gonna work. And we all know that. Everybody on YouTube has already said that 1,000,001 times. People still make the mistake. I judge, but I don't judge. Or whatever. Now we're done with that. You know I could talk about area rugs all day, every day, but what we are talking about next is artwork. So many times I hear Designers say the artwork needs to be aligned with like your eyes or where your vision is, and that literally is the most insane, like, I don't know who came up with that, but they need, no, just no. Like, that doesn't make any sense, because the reality is you are not the same height as me. I'm not the same height as you. You might be 6'1", you might be 4'11". I'm like 5'8", 5'9". So like, the artwork that's hung in line with my vision is not gonna be hung in line with yours. You're gonna come into my home and be like, the artwork is hung so high, and oh my goodness, the artwork is hung so low. And I don't wanna hear it in the comment section either, okay? You don't need to be like, I hate walking into someone's house and seeing their artwork is hung so high. Girl, you're a hobbit, leave them alone. I like to hang artwork in line with architecture. Because it is attached to your house, because it is hanging on the wall, it now is a part of the architecture, and we want it to enhance the space. And how I like to do that is I like to pick a line and line all of my artwork up together. So in my house, I have low ceilings. I have 8-foot ceilings, and I like to hang my artwork in line with the top of my door frames. And that can mean doing a lot of different things. You can see behind me, I have a very large scale piece of artwork here. It's hung in line with the door frame. It's got a great clearance with my cabinet here, but it's hung a little bit high. And you know, if you walked into my house, you might be like, oh, that artwork is hung too high. Well, what am I supposed to do? Hang it underneath the table? What we wanna do is we wanna enhance the space with our artwork. So I like using large scale artwork, but maybe you don't have that. Maybe you have mid-scale, maybe you have small scale. Mid-scale artwork, we can hang it a little bit lower. You can hang it in line with the bottom of a door frame. You can hang it in line with wherever you want, and you can use a picture light to enhance the height and make it look like it's longer than it is wide. You can hang that picture light in line with a line or in line with a door frame, maybe it's a window frame. You can always hang it in line. And why I like to hang them in line. When you hang your artwork all in line together, you can then have features that pop a little bit above them. So your curtains should go all the way to your ceiling. So your curtains are gonna pop up above them. That artwork being hung all in line with each other is now going to bring your eye to a place where you see that line, like you see this line here, but then your eye is going up to where the top of the camera screen is, to where you can see this artwork. It's gonna bring your eye up to that area and then pop it up and enhance the height of your ceiling. So I like artwork to be all hung in line with itself or hung in line with an architectural feature. It's gonna enhance your space and make it work a little bit better. Let's be real about artwork and the truth about artwork. It's for you to enjoy. You need to like it. You need to enjoy seeing it. Artwork is something that we enjoy as a whole, as a part of our environment. It's not something that we're studying or looking at every day. And if someone is in your house and they're getting their face all up in your artwork and being like, it's hung too high, that person needs to go back to their hobbit hole or speak to a mental health professional, because there are clearly some bigger issues happening that they do need help with, and we need to help them. Anyway, enough with that tangent. I want you to understand that when you hang artwork in line with itself and you have a few things that are taller, like maybe you have one large mirror, maybe you have windows with high curtains, maybe you have a floor to ceiling fireplace, hanging your artwork in line with itself will actually enhance these features. The reality is hanging artwork purely in line with where you see it is going to mean that your artwork is hung at all sorts of different heights, and that's not really doing much for your space to enhance the architecture of it, to make it feel grand, make it feel proportionate, or enhance scale in any way. As a matter of fact, it actually has the opposite effect. So we want artwork to be hung aligned with something. We want artwork to be consistent with each other, whether that is in size, whether that's in proportion or scale. We want it to all feel like it flows within your home. And we can actually divide artwork up further into a couple of categories. We have oversized pieces. So this would be leaning floor mirrors, large canvases, things that we cannot change the height of. And so those are things that we are going to use to accent and accentuate our artwork. And these are almost going to become the features that we are using to enhance our space and enhance the ceiling. They're not in line with anything, and that's okay. We can have a 1 or 2 off thing like that that works really well. But when we have large scale artwork, we want to hang that in line with something. That way it flows, it creates it makes a lot of sense and will enhance the architecture of your home. Mid-scale artwork, I like to use artwork lighting. You don't necessarily have to actually wire it in. It doesn't have to be a plug-in feature. It doesn't have to be real. It can be just like screwed into the wall there to enhance the visual aspect of the space. Smaller pieces are a little bit different. I don't necessarily love using smaller pieces in a home. I like to collage them together if I can to create the effect of one big piece of artwork. That way we are really enhancing the space and the ceiling height. You can also mix pieces together if you have very, very high ceilings. You can use big pieces, mid-size and small pieces, and use them in a way that grows and like cultivates a really interesting effect, but will still enhance enhance your ceiling height. And if you're doing this, you might have a piece of art that's hung 10 feet off the ground that nobody's eyes are in line with. And if somebody has something to say about it, they're welcome to leave your home. This thing about like hanging artwork in line with where your eyes are, it literally may be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, you can't even do that in a museum. It doesn't work. I can't. Okay, we're moving on. Now that I have also gone off on a tangent about artwork, we are moving on to the next topic of conversation, which are televisions. So TVs are inherently ugly. They don't ever really look great. And a lot of designers say, don't put a TV in your space. Don't have a TV in your room. Oh, TVs are terrible. TVs are ugly. TVs are this. We don't want to have a TV. Don't put a TV above your fireplace. Honestly, if someone tells you not to put a TV in your room, that person obviously doesn't have a sense of reality. And I'm sorry to anybody that has recommended that and saying that, but because the reality is that we want our spaces to be useful. You want your spaces to accommodate the way you live. You don't want it to be like, the room is pretty, so we have this going on. The room is this, so we have that. We don't have a TV because this is this room or that's that room. You know, if you can have formal rooms in a formal living room and dining room, maybe don't put TVs in those. I don't see a reason to have that if you can have a separate formal living room from a family room. But you might say, I don't need a formal living room or I don't need a formal dining room. It's gonna be an office, so I'm gonna have a TV in it. Great, go for it and do that. And if you have a family room and you want a TV in it, have a TV in it. I don't have a formal living room and a family room. I have one room that I've put my formal pieces in, but it actually serves as a very comfortable living room. So I'm gonna put a TV above that fireplace. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I'm gonna do it because that's what makes this room functional. It just doesn't really function well for me not having that in here because it's what makes this space comfy and cozy. And my family is very much one that we love to cuddle up and watch TV. We love to cuddle up and watch movies, and we'll have the fireplace on, and we love that cozy atmosphere. So have a TV in your living room if that makes sense. Now here are the guidelines, here are the rules, and here are the exceptions to that. If you can hang a TV in a place that is not obvious, if you have a furniture setup that allows you to hang a TV in a corner or hang a TV on a wall that maybe you don't see when you first walk into your space, that's gonna be really great. It's gonna be really successful because you don't have to put a TV above your fireplace, or you don't have to have a TV sat like oddly low next to the fireplace. If you can hang it on another wall that's kind of around a corner or somewhere you can enjoy it without necessarily having it in the forefront of the space, that's really great and it's gonna be very successful. Not all of us are in that position. I am most definitely not. When you walk into my home, my fireplace is not the first thing you see. The first thing you see is actually the corner that would be most obvious to hang a TV on, but I can't hang it there because I don't want you to walk in my front door and see a TV. I want you to walk in my front door and see beautiful artwork and beautiful pieces because that's what's gonna tell you about me. It's what's gonna enhance the space. It's I'm gonna walk in and bring me joy, and I want that. So I don't wanna have a TV there, but the reality is the best place for a TV in my room is above the fireplace. Why is that? Because I can hang a TV here, but a big black box hung a little bit too low here is just gonna draw your eye from the beautiful fireplace to the big black box there. It doesn't make sense. Having my TV above the fireplace in an instance like this is actually going to enhance this entire space. It's gonna draw your eye here and it's gonna keep it here. Now, what am I gonna do about that? Because we don't love to have TVs above fireplaces because fireplaces are really great places to decorate, to put our mantle decor, to decorate for the holidays. I don't wanna have a TV obstructing all of that. If you can, go for a flat mounted TV. This is relatively new. There's the frame TV. There are multiple TV companies coming out with these ultra thin flat TVs. If you can go for one of those, I say go for it. I think they're really great. Also, get a TV that's a little bit small for your fireplace. You can flank it with sconces. You can do something to it to make it not feel like it's too teeny for that space, but having a TV that's too big above your fireplace is gonna be too distracting. So we don't wanna get a TV that's gonna go from like edge to edge of the fireplace. I want a TV that's similar to the size of the opening here. What that's gonna do is it's gonna create a shape that mimics each other, and it's gonna create a line within a line that is going to bring your eye from up here, down to here, from down here, up to here. And it's gonna create nice flow. So we can do that with a TV over a fireplace. If you cannot go for a completely flat mounted TV, what I would recommend is that you have a frame made for your TV. I have done this with crown molding. I used to do it all the time, but now that we have the frame TV, it's just kind of like, okay, just go for that. Just spend a little bit of extra money that you would have spent on having the frame made, get the TV, and there are some really, really beautiful gold frames or frames that look like actual picture frames that you can get for it. A lot of people like that it has artwork. I think that's cool. It still is gonna kind of look like a TV with some artwork on the screen. It is a nice way to distract from it. That's a personal preference. If it's up to you, you can decide what you do with that. But if you have an existing TV that you're like, hey, I wanna have that above my fireplace because like we love sitting here, we love using it. Some of the best designers in the world have TVs above their fireplaces. My favorite designer does. I can't, like the reality is we want our home to be useful, and saying don't put a TV above the fireplace. Imagine someone says that and then we have people that are now hanging TVs on weird walls and then they're putting the back of their sofa to the fireplace so that they can watch the TV. It's like completely defeating the purpose of this being the focal point. So then the TV now becomes a focal point, or people are gonna walk in and be like, is that a fireplace behind your sofa? Like, what is that doing there? Like, what is going on here? Like, no, we don't want that. It makes no sense whatsoever. So if you are gonna put a TV in your room, you can put it above your fireplace. You can put it next to your fireplace. You can put it in an area that's convenient for you. What I always want to express to you and for you to understand is that it's nice to have a space that looks pretty. It's nice to have a space that looks pretty. We all want our homes to look like magazines, and we want people to come in and be wowed by them. And there's nothing that enhances the value of a home like beautiful decor and well-decorated spaces. That's the reality of it. That's the success that I've always had in the real estate industry. So I love that. But the realities of using that space are that it's not functional. It's if you can't have the things that are useful to you or that you're gonna use, you're not gonna use the space. That's just the reality of it. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I know a lot of people love these pieces of design advice, but do you do them? Do you follow them? Do you like these exceptions? Does this make sense to you? Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Be sure to like this video if you did, and I will see you in the next one.